spreading across his face. Stroking the bird always made him feel this way, as if a fire began to kindle in his chest and slowly warmed him from the inside out. Stroking it in the sweet spot, the bird stretched out its wings in pleasure, cooing softly and affectionately at its companion. The bird was simply extravagant. The feathers were as red as a warm sunset, accented with streaks of gold, dashes of orange, tinges of blue, and stripes of yellow, giving it the appearance of a living flame, and leaving the onlooker wondering if the vision will suddenly burn up and disappear. It seemed as if it were only yesterday that the old man was once again a young boy, trying hard to master the old family trade of wizardry and failing miserably. Again, said his father, indicating a stone 5 feet in front of him that, despite the boy's best efforts, had not levitated or much less moved an inch. His father had begun to irritate him. The tone in his voice had remained stagnant through each miserable attempt, repeating just one word, again. If his father was as frustrated as the boy was, his blank stare and monotonous voice gave none of it away. The boy had been attempting to move the blasted rock for 4 hours when his father commanded stop. The boy was just about to try again when he realized what his father had said. Stop, he repeated, dumbly. Cease, desist, stop, relent. If you were one of us, if you were really my son, your abilities would have revealed themselves by now. Gather your things and depart. You cannot stay here and live and study with us when you are not one of us, mundane. Find yourself another trade. The boy stood there, dumbfounded for what seemed like hours, not comprehending the stern words his father had offered him until much later. A sudden rage and despair welled up inside him, like a battle of fire and ice in his chest. The shock was so great, his breathing ceased. He couldn't breathe, he couldn't think, his whole chest ached. But he couldn't be here, not right now, not near his father, his faithless, unloving father. So despite the pain, despite not being able to breathe or think, he forced his legs to move, faster and faster, until he was running from the only home he'd ever known. But where was he going? He couldn't tell. His eyes had begun to water, and the terrain was growing more and more familiar with each step. He collapsed to the ground, and his legs couldn't support him anymore. He hurt more than he did before, though he didn't know how that was possible. He curled up, trying to ignore the pain, until, eventually, he fell asleep. A sweet sound, like the first few notes of a symphony by Vivaldi, gently stirred the boy awake. He kept his eyes closed, unwilling to face the cruel world again. Something warm and hard nudged his hand, but he recoiled at the touch. The sweet chirping played again, closer to his ear. Something pulled his hair. He shot up, holding his head and looking around. His confusion increased as he looked around to find no one there. There was a nudge against his hand again. He looked, and there was a bird. It was small, so small as he assumed it must be a chick. "Where did you come from?" he asked it. The little bird whistled in response. It was yellow-orange, almost like the flame of a candle. The boy held out his hand to the bird. The bird almost seemed to smile, and without hesitation, happily hopped into his palm. The boy lifted the bird in his hand, and as he did so, he felt the urge to stroke it. Unsure, he tentatively moved his other hand towards the bird's head. When his hand was close enough, the little bird pressed his head against the boy's finger, encouraging him. The boy smiled. The feathers of the bird were warm and soft to the touch, and as he continued stroking, little blue sparks appeared from where his fingers touched the feathers. They did not hurt. In fact, they tickled. Unable to contain himself, the boy began to laugh, and the melodic chittering of the bird joined him. Realization suddenly dawned on the boy, and his eyes suddenly grew wide. "A phoenix!" he cried. "That's what you are!" The little phoenix whistled in approval at the recognition. The boy continued laughing at the impossibility of the situation. Who was he to discover the rare, legendary phoenix? He was nothing special. All he was a wizard boy who couldn't find his magic. Why shouldn't a phoenix appear to someone more talented, more special than he? His younger sister was certainly worthy. Her magic had come at an extraordinarily young age, and his father had taken an instant favorite to her. But as he sat there now, gazing at this delightful, extraordinary, extravagant, magnificent bird, it seemed as though none of that really mattered. He smiled, and as he gently coaxed the young phoenix onto his shoulder, the bird whistled. The phoenix sang along with him, and together they walked. So many years had passed since that day. Together with the phoenix, he had found his magic, found a home, even found someone to love. They had become great enough to rival his father and his sister's abilities. He became wise, and he became respected. But through the many years, he had become lost, so lost. For time had been moving on without him, as if the world passed right around him, leaving him untouched for many years. The world was changing. People didn't need magic anymore. Most didn't even believe in it. His purpose was gone. He spent the days reading old tomes and spell books that he had already memorized from age 83. No one came to visit, as his family had grown too distant to remember him anymore. His sole companion was the Phoenix. Though he did not want to leave the Phoenix, the old man knew it was time to move on. The wizard truly did not fear his death. Indeed, he welcomed it as an old friend. It was watching the Phoenix die, however, like a glorious, magnificent bird that pained him immensely. He watched, day by day, as the feathers slowly fell from the bird, burning and becoming ash as soon as they touched another surface, too pure to contaminate itself by continuing to exist in the material world. How sad it was, watching nature's greatest beauty wither away as he was. He took a deep breath. His time was close now. He could feel death approaching like a frost creeping over his bones. The fire brought from the Phoenix's touch was slowly ebbing, and he began to drift into a kind of cold, dreamless sleep. He looked around once more at the place he had called his home for a long, long time. His gaze slowly drifted upward, and as the end drew but a breath's distance away, he whispered two words into the silence, for only the ears of the Phoenix to hear. "Thank you." The Phoenix began to sing. The song was bittersweet, a song of farewells and partings and goodbyes. The man's eyes closed. He gave one last sigh of contentment, and then stirred no more. A sudden flame burst into being where the Phoenix rested. Its song ceased, and the Phoenix let out a harmonic screech of pain. The flame in which it died burned so bright that had anyone been in the home of the now deceased old wizard, they might have been blinded. The fire raged, growing bigger, louder, and brighter. The Phoenix screeches grew higher in pitch and louder in volume, the sound at times being so pitifully painful that one might believe it was a crying dog. Then, suddenly as it began, the flame disapparated, leaving in its place only a sad pile of smoking ashes. Was this all that was left of the great bird? A quickly cooling pile of burnt spirit and companionship? But wait, and look closer, for something had stirred in the ashes. It began to shift like sand, and if you listened, you would hear a quiet whistling coming from within the ash. And there, right where the great old bird stood, came something new. Poking from the ash, in all its curiosity and splendor, was a tiny bee.